She was the third person in the marriage. She needed to rehabilitate her image.
You and your brother both directly asked your dad not to marry Camilla.
Yes.
In a development that has sent shockwaves through royal circles, Laura Lopes, daughter of Queen Camilla, has reportedly severed all contact with the royal family, following the accidental discovery of DNA results that have upended everything she thought she knew about her identity. Sources close to the family reveal that Laura, who has maintained a deliberately low profile despite her mother's rise to royal prominence, has not communicated with Camilla since the test results arrived in a plain manila envelope at her Wiltshire home last month. What these results revealed about her true paternity has apparently devastated the 46-year-old art curator and left the royal family scrambling to contain what insiders describe as potentially the most damaging revelation of the modern royal era. Why would DNA results drive Laura to such a drastic decision after decades of family loyalty? And why is Buckingham Palace treating this private family matter as a threat to the monarchy itself? Stay tuned, because this genetic bombshell changes everything. The accidental discovery. When Laura Lopes participated in what she believed was a routine medical screening earlier this year, she had no reason to suspect it would upend her entire understanding of her family history. According to sources familiar with the situation, Laura had undergone comprehensive genetic testing as part of a private healthcare program, a precautionary measure recommended by her physician following some concerning symptoms that ultimately proved benign. It was meant to be nothing more than thorough due diligence, revealed a source connected to the healthcare facility. The genetic screening was primarily focused on identifying potential hereditary health concerns, particularly certain cancers that had appeared in what she believed was her family medical history. The standard procedure should have ended with a routine consultation about the health implications of her genetic profile. Instead, Laura reportedly received something entirely unexpected in addition to her medical results: a separate analysis flagging significant genetic inconsistencies that could not be reconciled with her presumed parentage. The report essentially indicated that Andrew Parker Bowles could not possibly be her biological father, our source explained. The genetic markers showed conclusively that she shares no paternal DNA with her brother Tom, despite them supposedly having the same parents. What made this discovery particularly shocking was the clinical, impersonal way it was delivered. According to those familiar with the situation, the genetic inconsistency was flagged as a potential sample contamination issue, with the report suggesting Laura might want to provide new samples to resolve the apparent error. There was no recognition that this technical finding represented a life-altering revelation about her personal identity. She was devastated, said someone close to Laura's inner circle. Imagine discovering something this fundamental about yourself through a clinical report that treated it as nothing more than a technical anomaly. It was the coldest, most impersonal way possible to have your entire identity called into question. After the initial shock, Laura reportedly sought confirmation through additional testing, using a different facility and ensuring the strictest confidentiality. The secondary results only confirmed the original finding. Her DNA showed no genetic relationship to Andrew Parker Bowles, the man she had called father her entire life. Most disturbingly, this discovery led her to examine something she had never questioned: the timeline of her mother's relationships before her birth. What she found reportedly left her reeling. Laura had never paid much attention to the complicated chronology of her mother's life before her birth, our source continued. But once she began examining the timeline with this new information in mind, certain overlaps became impossible to ignore. The most significant revelation came when Laura allegedly discovered that her birth in January 1978 placed her conception in spring 1977, a period when Camilla's relationship with the then Prince Charles had already begun, despite both being married to others at the time. The timing aligned perfectly with what royal biographers have identified as the initial phase of Charles and Camilla's relationship, noted a royal historian consulted on the matter. While their affair has been acknowledged to have begun during this period, the possibility of a child resulting from it has never been publicly suggested, let alone confirmed. When Laura confronted her mother with the test results and the timeline she had assembled, the encounter reportedly ended in a heated exchange at Camilla's private residence, with security staff noting Laura's tearful departure and Camilla's subsequent cancellation of all appointments for the next 3 days, citing an unspecified personal matter. Since that confrontation, Laura has allegedly refused all contact with both her mother and the royal household, returning correspondence unopened and declining calls from even her closest royal connections. The palace panic. The revelation of Laura's genetic discovery has reportedly triggered unprecedented concern within the highest levels of the royal establishment. According to palace insiders, what might normally be treated as a private family matter has been designated a potential constitutional crisis, with special advisors brought in to assess implications that extend far beyond personal relationships. This isn't being handled as a family rift, revealed a source with direct knowledge of palace operations. This is being treated as a Category 1 situation, the designation used for events that could fundamentally alter public perception of the monarchy or raise questions about succession. The most immediate concern appears to center on the timing of King Charles's relationship with Camilla relative to his marriage to Princess Diana. While their affair during his marriage has long been acknowledged, the official narrative has always maintained that their relationship was discontinued during certain periods, including the early years of his marriage. The established timeline has been carefully crafted over decades, explained a former royal communications director. If evidence emerged suggesting the relationship with Camilla not only continued during the early period of his marriage to Diana, but actually produced a child, it would undermine decades of careful reputation management. Within days of Laura's confrontation with her mother, unusual security protocols were reportedly implemented around all medical facilities she had visited. Sources familiar with royal contingency planning noted the activation of specific media monitoring systems designed to identify early signs of sensitive information entering public circulation. Most tellingly, legal representatives connected to the royal household allegedly approached the private healthcare facility that conducted the initial genetic testing, citing patient confidentiality laws and requesting confirmation that all copies of Laura's genetic information had been secured according to standard privacy protocols. This wasn't about suppressing information, insisted our source close to these discussions. This was about ensuring that private medical data wasn't inappropriately accessed or shared. But the urgency and seniority of the individuals involved in these inquiries spoke volumes about the level of concern. Palace officials have reportedly prepared multiple contingency statements addressing different scenarios, ranging from flat denial to carefully worded acknowledgments that neither confirm nor deny the central allegation. Crisis management teams normally reserved for major royal scandals have been placed on standby, with communication strategies developed for various potential disclosure scenarios. There's particular concern about how this information might be weaponized if it became public, noted our palace source. This isn't just about a private family revelation. It potentially connects to narratives about deception, infidelity, and questions about institutional integrity that have surrounded the Charles-Camilla-Diana triangle for decades. Most significantly, King Charles has allegedly been directly involved in these preparations, something unusual for contingency planning, which is typically handled by staff with the monarch briefed only when necessary. According to those familiar with the situation, he has taken a personal interest in the communication strategies being developed, particularly regarding how potential revelations might affect public perceptions of Camilla. His primary concern appears to be protecting her from the inevitable media onslaught if this becomes public, our source explained. He's painfully aware that she would bear the brunt of public criticism, regardless of their shared responsibility. The family fractures. Beyond the institutional concerns, Laura's discovery has reportedly created profound rifts within her immediate family. According to those close to the situation, her relationship with her brother Tom Parker Bowles has become particularly strained as he has attempted to mediate between his sister and mother without taking sides. Tom is in an impossible position, revealed a source close to the family. He loves his sister deeply and understands her sense of betrayal, but he's also protective of their mother and concerned about the broader implications for the royal family, which has become an integral part of his life and career. The most painful aspect for Laura, according to friends, has been reconciling this revelation with her relationship with Andrew Parker Bowles, the man she had always believed was her father. Sources indicate that she has not yet disclosed her discovery to him, creating a painful dilemma, as she grapples with whether revealing the truth would be cruel or necessary at this stage of his life. Andrew has been a devoted father to her, said someone familiar with their relationship. The question she's wrestling with is whether the biological truth matters more than the lifetime of love and support he's given her. there's no easy answer. For Queen Camilla, the situation reportedly represents her greatest personal crisis since joining the royal family. Those close to her describe a woman torn between institutional loyalty and maternal devotion, desperate to reconnect with her daughter, but constrained by the broader implications of the situation. Camilla is devastated, revealed a longtime friend. Whatever the circumstances of Laura's birth, there's never been any question about the depth of love between them. The idea that this revelation could permanently damage that relationship is causing her immense pain. Most concerning for family unity has been King Charles's reaction to the situation. According to palace sources, he has been uncharacteristically withdrawn since learning of Laura's discovery, canceling several private engagements and spending increased time at his Highgrove retreat. Behavior that staff recognize as indicators of significant distress. The king feels tremendous guilt, explained our source close to royal circles. Not just about the past circumstances, but about how this revelation is affecting people he cares about deeply in the present. He's watching a family he loves being torn apart by a situation he helped create nearly half a century ago. The most visible sign of these tensions came at a recent family gathering, where Laura's absence was conspicuous. According to attendees, her name was notably not mentioned throughout the event, creating an uncomfortable atmosphere that even experienced royal staff found difficult to navigate. It was the elephant in the room that no one dared acknowledge, noted one attendee. When her brother was asked about her absence, he simply said she was unavailable and quickly changed the subject.
My mother was probably on his radar, so God knows who was, accused everyone else of doing everything horrible.
Freedom of speech only matters when people you don't like say things you don't like. Otherwise, it has no meaning. Today, Tom Parker Bowles, dropping absolute bombshells about his mother. It is getting nuclear now, Steve. Yeah, Carl, nuclear doesn't even begin to describe this royal family meltdown unfolding right before our eyes. He's gone. No reconciliation, no forgiveness, not even a courtesy call to Buckingham Palace. Tom Parker Bowles has cut all ties with Queen Camilla, and the timing couldn't be more catastrophic. Why? Because a shocking DNA test just revealed the truth about Camilla's own paternity, and the results are sending shockwaves through the monarchy. Oh, and royal biographers are now involved, reportedly scrambling to rewrite history books that could turn this family drama into a constitutional crisis. So what exactly did this DNA test show that has the royal family in panic mode? Why is Tom suddenly distancing himself from his mother like she's radioactive? Stick around, the plot is thicker than royal blood. But first, smash that like button and hit subscribe so you don't miss a single update in this wild royal family implosion. Did you just subscribe? Awesome. Let's dive into this royal mess. It started like any ordinary family research project. Tom Parker Bowles, respected food critic and son of Queen Camilla, reportedly took one of those ancestry DNA tests. You know, the kind millions of people take every day just for fun. But what happened next was anything but ordinary. Tom was on that cooking show last month saying how proud he was of his heritage. "I've always been fascinated by my family history on both sides," he said with that trademark, aristocratic smile. "I thought I knew exactly where I came from. But that smile has vanished." According to multiple sources close to the royal family, Tom received results that indicated Queen Camilla's biological father was not Major Bruce Shand, as everyone had believed for over 75 years. Yeah, this DNA test apparently revealed that Camilla's actual biological father was someone completely different, a man with connections to the highest levels of British aristocracy, and with secret ties to the royal family itself. Translation: the entire royal lineage just got complicated. Tom reportedly confronted his mother with these results at a private meeting at Clarence House 2 weeks ago. Witnesses describe hearing raised voices and emotional exchanges before Tom stormed out, visibly shaken. Since that day, complete radio silence between mother and son. One palace insider told us, "This isn't just about family secrets. There are serious constitutional questions about bloodlines and succession that could rock the monarchy to its core." And as if that wasn't explosive enough, royal watchers started connecting the dots. You heard that right. According to several royal journalists, this paternity revelation potentially explains why King Charles was so determined to marry Camilla, despite all the obstacles and public disapproval. It's like the pieces of a puzzle suddenly falling into place, said one royal expert who requested anonymity. If Camilla's biological father is who we now think it is, it would rewrite decades of royal history. Remember how the Queen was initially against Charles marrying Camilla? Yeah, theories like that get a whole new meaning when you consider what DNA might have revealed behind palace walls. And guess what? As soon as whispers of this DNA test began circulating, Tom Parker Bowles vanished from public life. No one saw it coming. One day he's at a book signing promoting his latest cookbook, and the next, gone. No scheduled appearances, no social media updates, not even a comment through his publisher. According to sources within Tom's inner circle, he's gone completely off-grid at a friend's estate in Scotland. And this wasn't some planned vacation. Insiders say he felt blindsided, betrayed, and unprepared for the identity crisis this DNA bombshell triggered. The test results, the confrontation with his mother, the implications for the royal family. It was all too much. So he cut ties completely. Some say he's already consulted lawyers about legally changing his surname. Others say he's preparing a tell-all memoir that would make Prince Harry's Spare look like a bedtime story. What's clear? His relationship with Queen Camilla appears irreparably damaged, and the ripple effects are just beginning to hit Buckingham Palace. And social media? Oh, it's melting down. As rumors of this family fracture spread, hashtags started trending instantly. Royal DNA scandal. Not her son. Camilla secrets. One viral tweet read, "If your entire identity was built on a lie, wouldn't you distance yourself too?" Another said, "Tom deserves better than decades of deception. Maybe now we'll get the whole truth about the Windsor-Parker-Bowles connection." Critics are calling this the biggest royal cover-up since the abdication crisis. Royal commentators argue that this paternity question raises serious concerns about who knew what and when. But others? They think this could get even worse. Palace PR teams are reportedly in full-on crisis mode. Sources say that top royal advisors are working around the clock on damage control because, let's be honest, this isn't the first family secret the royals have tried to bury, but it might be the first time DNA evidence has blown the lid off generations of carefully constructed narratives. Book publishers are circling. Documentary filmmakers are pitching projects. The royal family is scrambling. Some insiders claim King Charles himself is now trying to act as mediator between his wife and stepson to prevent further family implosion. But with DNA evidence involved, that reconciliation might be impossible. "I want the truth to finally come out," one of Tom's friends reportedly told a British tabloid. "There's something in those royal bloodlines that they've been hiding for generations. This isn't just another celebrity family drama. This is a potential rewriting of modern royal history. It's about identity, legitimacy, and whether the British monarchy can survive yet another scandal that challenges its very foundations." The royal biographer Penelope Hartwick-Smythe didn't mince words when interviewed yesterday. This revelation creates legitimate questions about Camilla's rapid rise from mistress to queen. If her biological father was indeed connected to the royal family as these DNA results suggest, it paints the entire Charles-Diana-Camilla triangle in a completely different light. And the royal experts aren't stopping there. Historians are now reportedly re-examining photographs, letters, and diaries from the 1940s, looking for clues that might have been missed about Camilla's true paternity. "The physical resemblance is undeniable once you know what to look for," said royal historian Malcolm Thornbridge. "Compare photographs of Camilla with her supposed father, and then with this other gentleman from the aristocracy. The evidence has been hiding in plain sight all along. Whether Tom eventually reconciles with his mother or not, this moment has already changed the royal family forever. The DNA doesn't lie, the family bonds are fractured, and now the public and historians alike are watching every development with renewed scrutiny. Will Tom break his silence with a tell-all interview? Will more royal family secrets come to light through other DNA revelations? And will Queen Camilla be forced to publicly address her true paternity, or continue the generations of secrecy? According to sources close to Tom, he's currently working with genealogists to trace this newly discovered biological lineage, potentially uncovering even more shocking connections to other prominent British families. "This isn't just about Tom and Camilla anymore," said one royal expert. "If these DNA results show what we think they do, there could be ripple effects throughout the aristocracy. Other families might discover their histories aren't what they believed either." Some royal watchers believe this explains why Camilla was so determined to marry into the royal family despite all the obstacles. "It wasn't just love," suggested one commentator. If her biological father was who we now think, she may have felt entitled to that position all along. Palace insiders report that King Charles is deeply concerned about the impact this revelation is having on the already fragile public perception of the monarchy. Coming so soon after Harry and Meghan's departure and Prince Andrew's scandals, this is the last thing the king needed, said one source. Genealogists are now reportedly inundated with requests from members of the public who believe they might be related to this newly revealed royal connection. Everyone wants to know if they're somehow connected to this secret branch of the family tree, said one DNA testing expert. But the real question remains, what will Tom do next? Will he use this revelation to forge a new identity completely separate from the royal circus? Or will he leverage this bombshell for a Netflix deal that would make the crown look like a children's fairy tale?
Finally tonight here, nearly 20 years after losing his mother, Princess Diana. Tonight, the new interview with Prince Harry.
I don't think that we can ever have peace with my family unless the truth is out there.
Prince Harry has shocked the world with his most explosive revelation yet, reportedly severing all remaining ties with the British royal family after receiving DNA test results confirming what many royal insiders have whispered for decades. Princess Diana is not his biological mother. This bombshell development has sent shockwaves through monarchist circles worldwide and threatens to fundamentally alter the public's perception of the modern Windsor dynasty. Let us explore the extraordinary implications of this unprecedented moment in royal history. The revelation comes after what sources describe as months of private investigation by Harry, apparently triggered by inconsistencies he discovered while researching his memoir. Harry's journey to uncover the truth began as he was sorting through old photographs and noticed peculiarities in the timeline surrounding his birth, reveals a source close to the prince. What started as mere curiosity evolved into a full-blown investigation that has ultimately changed everything he thought he knew about himself. The DNA results, reportedly conducted at a highly respected Swiss medical facility known for its discretion, have confirmed beyond scientific doubt that while King Charles is indeed Harry's biological father, the woman who raised him as Diana, Princess of Wales, was not his birth mother. This staggering disclosure raises countless questions about one of the most documented families in modern history. How could such a monumental secret have been maintained in an era of intense media scrutiny? Who was involved in this extraordinary deception? And perhaps most importantly, who is Harry's actual biological mother? Royal commentators are scrambling to reassess decades of carefully crafted narrative around Diana and her relationship with her younger son. The iconic images of Diana with the young prince, her evident affection for him, and her determination to give him as normal a childhood as possible. All these moments now require radical reinterpretation. Was her sometimes overprotective attitude toward Harry driven by compensatory guilt? Did her famous statement about wanting to be a queen in people's hearts mask deeper conflicts about her role in this unprecedented arrangement? Why has this come to light now? Sources suggest that approaching middle age has prompted in Harry a profound need to understand his true origins. The prince has spent years defining himself through his mother's legacy, explains one royal historian. To discover that this fundamental pillar of his identity is built on sand has been utterly destabilizing for him. This revelation may also explain the increasing distance Harry has placed between himself and the institution of the monarchy in recent years. Perhaps he had begun to suspect the truth and felt increasingly alienated from the family that had maintained this deception. The palace's reaction has been one of tightly controlled crisis management. An emergency meeting of senior royals reportedly took place at Balmoral, with King Charles flying in by helicopter despite ongoing health concerns. William, now thrust into an even more complex relationship with the man he grew up believing was his full brother, is said to be devastated but determined to manage the constitutional implications. For the newly crowned king, this revelation represents perhaps the most serious challenge of his reign thus far. For royal watchers, this disclosure puts years of family dynamics into startling new context. Harry's physical resemblance to the Spencer family, long attributed to Diana's genes, must now be seen as coincidental, or perhaps even cultivated. His rebellious nature, so often linked to Diana's independent spirit, may have entirely different origins. The famous bond between the brothers, their shared grief over Diana's death, their subsequent estrangement, all must be re-examined through this new lens. The question on everyone's lips: who is Harry's biological mother? palace sources remain resolutely silent, though speculation inevitably points to women in Charles's life during the early 1980s. The arrangement, if true, would have been orchestrated with unprecedented secrecy, known only to a small circle of the most trusted royal insiders. This would have required planning and discretion at a level almost impossible to comprehend, notes one royal biographer. It speaks to the extraordinary measures the monarchy will take to ensure its continuity. The legal implications are equally momentous. While Harry's place in the line of succession is secure under British law regardless of his maternal biological status, his personal response has reportedly been to reject any remaining connection to the royal family. Harry has instructed his legal team to formally renounce any titles, positions, or privileges associated with the Windsor dynasty, claims a source familiar with the situation. He wants nothing further to do with what he now views as a lifetime of calculated deception. For Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, this revelation has apparently strengthened her resolve to support her husband through what must be an identity-shattering period. Meghan has been Harry's rock throughout this process, says someone within their circle. Her experience of family complexity has helped her provide perspective as Harry navigates this new reality. Their children, Archie and Lilibet, now face growing up with an entirely different understanding of their paternal heritage than previously assumed. Public reaction has spanned from disbelief to theories that have circulated in the darker corners of royal speculation for years. For many, Diana's memory remains sacred, and this news feels like a desecration of her legacy. Others see it as the final vindication of their suspicions about the monarchy's capacity for manipulation and image management. Social media has exploded with theories, tributes to Diana, and expressions of support for Harry. This revelation inevitably casts past royal crises in new light. Charles and Diana's turbulent marriage, her struggles with palace life, her explosive interviews, all take on new dimensions when viewed through the prism of this extraordinary secret. If Diana agreed to raise a child not biologically her own, it speaks to the immense pressure she was under to fulfill her royal role, suggests one royal commentator. It adds another layer of tragedy to her already poignant story. For William, this disclosure creates a precarious position. As heir to the throne, he must balance institutional stability with family loyalty during a time of unprecedented scrutiny. Sources suggest he has reached out to Harry despite their years of estrangement, recognizing the existential nature of this moment for his brother. William understands that regardless of biology, the brotherhood they shared for decades was real, says a palace insider. That connection can't simply be erased, even by a revelation of this magnitude. The timeline surrounding Harry's birth now faces intense re-examination. Contemporaneous reports of Diana's pregnancy, her hospital stay, the official announcements, all must be reconsidered as potential elements of an elaborately staged deception. Royal historians are poring over archives, looking for inconsistencies or moments of revelation that might have gone unnoticed at the time. The ability to maintain a secret of this magnitude would have required extraordinary discipline from everyone involved, notes one historian. It speaks to the monarchy's remarkable capacity for self-preservation. The psychological impact on Harry himself can hardly be overstated. Having built so much of his identity around being Diana's son, her legacy bearer, the prince who inherited her compassion and human touch, this revelation strikes at the very core of his self-conception. Harry is experiencing a profound identity crisis, suggests a psychologist who specializes in family secrets. Learning that your origin story is fundamentally different from what you've always believed can trigger a form of psychological trauma. For King Charles, this moment represents both a personal and constitutional crisis. The revelation of such an extraordinary deception, having occurred under the monarchy's auspices, raises fundamental questions about the institution's relationship with truth and transparency. At a time when the relevance of the monarchy is increasingly questioned, this disclosure threatens to undermine public trust in profound ways. The global fascination with this story speaks to the enduring mystique of the British royal family. Even in an age of supposed transparency, the Windsors maintain their capacity to shock and surprise. This revelation may ultimately be remembered as the moment when the carefully constructed facade of the modern monarchy faced its most serious challenge yet. Questions about who knew what and when are dominating royal discourse. The Queen Mother, Prince Philip, palace courtiers, royal physicians. The circle of those who must have been aware of the truth would have extended beyond the immediate family, but remained remarkably contained for decades. This speaks to an extraordinary code of silence at the heart of the institution, notes one royal historian. It reveals the lengths to which the monarchy will go to manage its narrative. For Harry and Meghan's existing media projects, this revelation creates both challenges and opportunities. Will Harry address this discovery in his next memoir? How will it affect the couple's production deals and public advocacy work? Sources suggest Harry is processing privately before deciding how or whether to address this publicly, though the leak of the DNA test results has forced the issue into the open sooner than he might have wished. The broader implications for the monarchy are profound. An institution built on lineage and heredity now faces questions about its most fundamental relationships. The carefully cultivated image of Diana as the mother who modernized royal parenting must be reconsidered. The narrative of two brothers united by shared heritage and destiny has been irreparably altered. For many observers, this revelation explains Harry's increasing distance from royal life in recent years. His search for purpose, his global wanderings, his embrace of different values and priorities. Perhaps these were manifestations of a subconscious awareness that his connection to the Windsor legacy was not what it seemed. There's often a level of intuitive knowing that precedes conscious discovery of family secrets, suggests one psychologist. Harry may have been pulling away from the monarchy because on some level, he sensed the truth. As the world absorbs this extraordinary development, attention inevitably turns to what happens next. Will Harry's biological mother come forward or be identified? Will further royal secrets emerge in the wake of this disclosure? How will the monarchy weather perhaps its most significant crisis of truth since the abdication? The only certainty is that the royal narrative has been permanently altered. For Harry himself, the path forward involves reconstructing his sense of identity on entirely new terms. The man who grew up as Diana's second son must now understand himself through a different lens. His characteristic resilience faces its greatest test yet as he navigates this profound recalibration of his life story. The question of whether Diana knowingly participated in raising a child not biologically her own, or whether she too was deceived, remains unanswered. Each possibility carries its own painful implications. If she knew, her public persona requires radical reassessment. If she was unaware, it suggests a deception of extraordinary cruelty perpetrated against a young woman already struggling with the pressures of royal life.